Ladies and gentlemen, the media is trying to demoralize you. That's really all there is to it at this point. As you can see, I got the Time magazine cover for November 23rd that's going to be coming out. And yeah, it's got President-elect according to the media, which apparently calls elections now. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I thought it had to get certified by the states and then Congress had to pass it. But nope, according to the media. And even the right-wing media, because, well, Time is owned by the CEO of Salesforce, who is an avowed Republican. And yeah, it doesn't even matter anymore. You can be on either side. And I've got Fox News here pulled up because, well, to be completely honest, they really don't care. And I just really wanted to show you guys this because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, as you can see, there's just a little itty bitty Joe just peeking over the banner there. So I'll just hurry up and get rid of that for a second. But yeah, even on Fox's main page here, you got a whole bunch of crap. Yeah. Trump team vows more lawsuits in key states as Republicans mom on projected Biden win. Message to election 2020, Trump lost but Trumpism did not. Hillary Clinton lauds Biden's projected victory as a repudiation of Trump. This is the supposed right-wing outlet Fox News, but as you've seen in the previous few days, yeah. Fuck them and fuck what they're about anymore. I'm tired of having to stick up for Fox News. It's a fucking shit outlet. And, you know, sometimes their written articles are fine, but what they've been doing on air is fucking repugnant, if you ask me. But speaking of absolutely being repugnant, we have CNN, of course. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this clip. I'm just going to let it run for a second and I'll just show you. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, look at all of those people together. But at the same time, they'll say that at Notre Dame football game, when everybody swarmed onto the field, oh yeah, there's something terrible and wrong with that. And you get all those people out in the streets and all of a sudden, yeah, I'm so glad. It's so nice. You can see the repudiation of the man who just spends all of his time on the golf course. It actually has a pretty decent swing. I've never actually seen it before, but yeah. The reason I'm letting this play here for a second is because, okay, you got fathead Jim Acosta, and then, fucking man who's sitting on a fist that's just a little bit too large for comfort. Oh, it must have moved a little bit, but as you can see here, this is just regular old CNN, but okay, every once in a while I come across some CNN videos. I'm not proud to say that I watched them, but I have to in order to see what the other side of the aisle is thinking. And you know what? This is really kind of a stark contrast of what they've been putting out there lately. So I just had to go back and refresh my memory what was missing. As you can see right here, yeah, no coronavirus statistics on the side. Now this is an older video or an older screenshot, but yeah, it still goes to say that this was there for everything. In case you guys missed it, it was always up and always front and center. So yeah, it's these little mind tricks where they like to demoralize you. Like, honestly, there are so many lawsuits out there right now. There is so much verifiable fraud, and that'll be in next video because there's even more credible accusations out there, which I'll go through. But this entire video is just about the demoralization tactics of what the media is doing. And you know what? I went to bed last night and I was thinking, it's like, fucking, maybe this is just all going to fall on deaf ears, who knows? Death's ears is what you could characterize a typical Biden voter as having. But no, I woke up this morning and I started thinking, and it's like, no, they're just trying to demoralize you. They're just projecting a winner. They don't certify fuck all. And they already had a vested interest in the fall of Trump for the better part of, 5 years ever since he came down the escalator. So, yeah, stop taking all of their shit seriously. And especially everybody on Twitter, like, for fuck's sakes, they're just, trying to shitpost right now. And there's no consequence for the other side of the aisle to act like this. So, fuck it. They're just going to go whole hog. And anytime that you step up with any sort of, half-ass credible accusation, or if you make a credible claim and link to credible evidence, you immediately get flagged. But that is for a little bit later in the topic, because there are some people who are actually starting to stick up for President Trump, which is great to see, because you have the likes of fat-ass Chris Christie saying, oh yeah, you should just accept it and we're going to move on, and Mitt Romney, whatever the fuck he is anymore. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of swamp creatures coming out here in the next week. And I don't like to use those fucking weird terms, but there's going to be a sizable portion of conservatives or Republicans. You already see that with everybody who's, proclaiming to be an old school classical liberal just having on their fucking never Trumper friends. Like, okay, for the most part, Dave Rubin's a pretty smart guy, and I don't want to go in too hard on him, but he had Megyn Kelly on, and yeah, shouldn't that just immediately send something up out into the ether? Yeah, it doesn't really much matter that she's trying to get her own show off the air. Remember how she left Fox News because she didn't like how things were going with them snuggling up to Trump in 2016? Yeah, you think a leopard changes its spots? Or how about Ben Shapiro, who founded the Daily Wire after an allegation of somebody getting roughed up that he worked with at Breitbart and left? And, for his credit, he formed a relatively, well, it's quite successful. I can't even say relatively successful. It's a very successful right-wing neocon platform. Congratulations to him. But his tacit late support for President Trump, yeah, why would you expect any of these Johnny-come-latelys to really stick around? It was an oversight on my behalf. He didn't really add too much to it. This is, Shapiro, because he's just going to be, oh, now I can make all that opposition money. It's going to be so great. Most of these people are grifters. Sometimes they have hot takes, but Ben Shapiro, if you were looking for a great takedown of him, he has one of his hour-long Sunday special interviews. I think they're called the Sunday Special. It's Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister, last great Prime Minister of Canada. He absolutely curb stomped any of his neocon affectations for an hour. And if you think that Ben Shapiro is the smartest conservative out there, my condolences on the incoming knowledge that you're going to be receiving. It's going to be painful for you. Well, that's enough of me taking down new media. I think that they're all, most of them are grifters. There's very few of the guys sticking up for what they believe in. You got Razor Fist out there, Stick, Sex, and Hammer, and Steven Crowder's right out there right now with just the loudest megaphone and the biggest banner. And I can't say I'm more happy to be fans of those three guys because they're doing the right thing, at least in my opinion, waiting for all of these lawsuits to shake out and just being like, hey, if Biden ends up winning after all this shit is done, by all means, fuck it. But we're going to fight this to the bitter end. And you're not seeing it from one side of this particular aisle where, yeah, you just got heads down and it's like, oh, it's all right. We're just going to run Marco Rubio, or we'll just run, fucking Mitt Romney because he almost won in 12. We'll just go ahead and try to run that. We'll just give up for the time being, and we're set up good to win 2022. Might gain some more in the House. Yeah, like I've said before, you think if the media is going to be able to get away with pushing this there's no widespread voter fraud narrative, you think that it's going to go away in 2022? This is the last push, okay? Understand this right now, that if we let them get away with this, it's going to be really hard for another voice to pop up. And it's even more pernicious given the fact that Biden's in charge and his executive order list, which, okay, we'll circle back to this story here because I've got his executive order list. I don't know why I have it open twice, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, immediately after taking office, President-elect, even according to the New York Post, they're doing a great job. Very good. Just, following the crowd, as it were. You don't want to be left behind or labeled as an extremist outlet, I understand. Plans to issue a slew of executive orders reversing many notable Trump administration policies, according to a report on Saturday. The Biden camp wants to immediately repeal the ban on immigration targeting many Muslim majority countries, the Washington Post reported. There was a little screenshot circulating last night, and I couldn't find it because I really just wanted to read that. But at the same time, this is also from a single source, and once we circle back to that CNN article, you're going to see that it's these unspecific, one-sourced, anonymous outlets. So take it with a grain of salt, kind of like how we're having to do all of this right now. He also wants to reinstate the program allowing dreamers who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children to stay in the country, that the report said. Yeah, because coyotes, he probably was very, very concerned the fact that dogs were dragging kids across the border, right? Biden further intends to rejoin the Paris Climate Accords, which is terrific because that has a substantial price tag on it, but it doesn't enforce any of its rules. So China's involved in the Paris Climate Accord, so's India. And they burn coal like it's fucking going out of style, guys, with no scrubbers on it and no sort of environmental policies. And you know what the punishment for not following the Paris Climate Accord is? No, I'm asking because I literally don't know because there aren't any. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the United States will just adhere to that and continue to pay for something that is stupid and unenforceable. Yay, good for you, Biden. And is also reported planning to reverse President Trump's withdrawal from the World Health Organization. You know, that World Health Organization that is funded a lot by China and loves to push their disinformation, especially when it comes to the COOF this time around, which is slated to take effect in July 2021. The report comes the same day the Democrats' election win was declared, and I'll add this, by the media. Exactly. However, Biden advisors have spent months working on how to implement his agenda, and the team has compiled a book of his campaign commitments as guide for their early administrative moves. Well, I'm sure it's in very, very large font and with very simplistic language. Those around the former vice president have acknowledged that he may need to lean on executive actions if they are challenging to push major legislation through Congress, especially if they can't cheat their way through the Senate control. The transition policy teams are focusing now very much on executive power. Yes, of course, it's all about power with the left, guys. That's all that they focused on, and that's why they aren't terribly concerned with the House right now. They're still going to own the House. They've lost seats in the House. They've lost governorships across the entire United States. I think 5 have flipped at this point. And the reason they don't care about that is because everything is through the lens of power. That is intersectionality. That is critical race theory, which he will be reinstating if I can find the proper article, because there's a bunch of other just really pernicious shit. Yeah, the New York Times will suffice. Fuck it. He has vowed, this is Biden, that day one he will move rapidly to confront the coronavirus pandemic by appointing a, get this, national supply chain commander and establishing a pandemic testing board. This is already taken care of by what Mike Pence is fronting with the coronavirus task force, by the way. So yeah, he's doing so much different. Similar to FDR's production panel. That guy is a lump of shit, but that is another story for another day. He has said he will restore the rights of government workers to unionize. So get rid of right to work states. Terrific. He has promised to order a new fight against homelessness and resettle more refugees fleeing war. Open up the borders, kids. He has pledged to abandon Mr. Trump's travel ban on mostly Muslim countries and to begin calling foreign leaders in an attempt to restore trust among the United States' closest allies. Remember Barack Obama's We're Sorry tour? It looks like he's going to be doing that, but I don't know how you do that from the basement. Maybe he's just going to rack up that old Skype bill. Mr. Biden pledges to roll back some, not all of them, of Mr. Trump's tax cuts. Oh yeah, and he's also, I can't fucking find it in these shitty fucking articles. I wish I could find that screenshot again. Yeah, national mask mandate and reverse the critical race theory. And the way that they had it worded was racial sensitivity training. So that wasn't exactly a slip of the tongue by Chris Wallace during the first debate. Yeah, he intentionally framed it that way because critical race theory is a lot less palatable than racial sensitivity training. So he's going to be getting rid of President Trump's executive order on banning critical race theory, which I've done a couple videos on. Just its destructive nature. So that's just the more dumb shit that you can expect from Biden. And yeah, it's a list that is very frightening. I think it covered all the big hitters, and yeah, not being able to find that mask mandate one. There's a little bit more information in this fucking New York Times article, but I can feel myself getting dumber as long as I read it. And that's the important takeaway from this, is because that's what the media is trying to do during this supposed lame duck period, even though that there are many, many, many instances that are going to be going before the courts. So don't exactly feel terrible right now if you guys are reading too much news right now, and you're listening to these downers out there that don't understand that, you know, what courts are going to do, what courts are going to fucking do. So hold your chin up, guys. It's not that bad. And especially plug your nose right now, because we're going back to CNN. President Donald Trump's inner circle is beginning to split over his ongoing refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election, as Jared Kushner and First Lady Melania Trump advised him to come to terms with President-elect Joe Biden's victory, as his adult sons pressed him and his allies to keep fighting. Oh, really? I bet. Kushner, the president's son-in-law, who was also smeared by the Lincoln Project and by the New York Times and the Washington Post, but yes, believe CNN in this case, and senior advisor has approached him to concede. 2 sources told CNN. My word, do you believe that? I know I do. Because, yeah, I keep a jar of lead paint just off to my left here, and it's always open at all times of recording. The First Lady, according to a separate source familiar with the conversations, ooh, look at this, has privately said that the time has come for him to accept the election loss. We'll just go back to the New York Post for a second here. Yeah, First Lady actually held a speech, echoes president's claim of illegal votes. So does that sound like he should, just concede? Yeah, it sounds like CNN is really trying to make you believe that there is no hope. Especially with them just fucking touting everything is awful, everything is terrible, he should just hurry up, there's no hope. Oh man, it's classic. It's classic demoralization techniques. And if you guys let it win, if you want to adhere to this defeatist mindset, that is by all means up to you. But I'm telling you that these are just outright tactics, and they are just fucking out to smear the man that they've been trying to smear for the past 5 years. But as much as they're trying to say that, people close to him are telling him to submit and they should just give up because the media, the most trusted name in news, has called the election for the ghost man. You know what? There are some good people out there. And I think I highlighted Ted Cruz. And I think I need to give him a little bit more credit because I was a little sour on him, especially after this, because it's... good to see that maybe his change, maybe his metamorphosis from just being the fat-faced half a Mexican during the Republican primaries, that is the Ted of the past, and Ted of the now and into the future is going to be somebody who's going to be fighting for the current and future stake of the Republican Party, because if they curl up and just go back into their Republican shell like that, I will not be supporting Republicans going forward. Fuck that. If they're just going to roll over and not fight this to the bitter end, you will never hear another praise piece for any of those fucking losers. As it says here, he went on, Maria Bartiromo, whose lips just keep getting fucking larger. What is she, just trying to float away like she's in the up? I don't get it. The media does not select our president. The American people get to elect our president. At this point, we should allow the rule of law and a legal process to operate. Exactly. And Sean Parnell, who was leading when I checked, oh my God, when was this? Probably election night, when this was all supposed to be decided? Yeah, exactly. Help make sure that Sean Parnell's Election Defense Fund has resources necessary to ensure every vote is valid and legal. Now, he is running his district is just outside of Pittsburgh, I do believe, just west of Pittsburgh, where, as you know, Pennsylvania, there's going to be a lot of shit going down next week, or I guess tomorrow into the rest of the week. It is Sunday after all. I'm good with dates. It's going to get spicy over there, and I hope Sean Parnell advances because that dude is a legit warrior. He has been to war. I do believe he's a Marine. I think he's a Marine. We'll just go ahead and check this real quick. My bad. He was an Army captain. So, still, nonetheless prolific and deserving of your support. So, Ted Cruz is on his side, and Governor Kristi Noem, who is quite a delight, if you understand what I'm saying. In 24, I would very much appreciate, because she has run South Dakota exquisitely, and the way that she handled stupid George Stephanopoulos, who will just go ahead, okay, just look at his body language there. He's leaning towards the camera and he's telling her, yeah, you know what? You just have to accept. You have to accept. Don't question any of the results. Just go ahead. Listen to us. You can see what he's trying to do, just non-verbally. Just trying to beg her to listen to what he has to say. Don't question anything. I've got all the answers. I work in the media. Disregard the fact that I used to work for the Bill Clinton campaign and I was the communications director. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. We have all the answers and don't you ever disagree with me. Anyways, and the fact that ABC here was their little bit as they were throwing out this clip. Pressed by George Stephanopoulos on whether she has any evidence to support President Trump's election claims, GOP North Dakota Governor Kristi Noem does not provide any evidence, but also refuses to acknowledge that Joe Biden as the apparent winner of the presidency. Adhere to our rule because we will always call it right, goddammit. Oh, by the way, she's governor of South Dakota. And I watched the clip, and yeah, she's citing dead people voting, which we've seen before, and I'll get into in the next video. But the fact that they can just baselessly say that and just put a little clip where, I don't know if she played during this clip, because how long is this one? Yeah, 3 minutes. I'm sure that she actually does provide evidence, but yeah, they can just go ahead and put that up there, and guess what? Not fact-checked or anything, so that's fine. That's fine. Hopefully you guys understand that the media is running a concerted disinformation campaign where they are trying to demoralize you, okay? The fact of the matter is this is far from over, and I'm not saying that President Trump's going to win at all. I'm saying that he has many, many legal avenues to still go down, and if you support President Trump, please do continue to support him, because this is merely, if I am to use a film analogy, there are 3 acts to every movie. In the beginning, you have the rise of the hero. In the second act, he faces a significant trouble, and in the third act, it's a conclusion. Now, I think you guys can figure out that analogy in and of itself. But as you also notice on my channel, I do a lot of sports coverage. And right now, what we are seeing is President Trump won the first quarter. Okay? And in the second quarter, during his entire presidency, he was winning tremendously. And now into the third quarter, we are ending the third quarter. And it looks like, you know what? They're coming back. They're scoring touchdowns in the third quarter. And we're heading into the fourth. And we're seeing a shift in momentum, whether it's astroturfed or not. I'll leave that up to you to decide. It's kind of like Super Bowl where the lights went off in the Superdome between the Ravens and the 49ers. The Ravens were absolutely cruising. And then all of a sudden, flick the lights. That was COVID. Use this analogy a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, the 49ers started coming back. They started coming back. They almost tied it up. And that's what we got here. Okay? The lights went out without COVID. You think the Ravens would have just continued just fucking rolling right after the half there. They would have absolutely smoked the 49ers. But because they had that extra half an hour long break, those old boys needed a second to get their bearings about them. And looking at President Trump's legal defense team, yeah, it's a bunch of old boys there. And they're going to need a second to get fucking started. But I'm thinking they're going to pull it out here at the end. Because this is the general's last ride, so need to make sure that everything is explored. Don't give up hope yet. Just because the media is telling you to doesn't mean you necessarily should. Anyways, guys, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you guys to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.